Okay, just wanted to show the this new Booma automatic balancer. So this is the IM14. It'll do up to 4 servos on one wing. There's the big yak here, and I've got 3 servos. So I'll just show how to do the balancing first. So first, what you do is you plug in your first servo, which is this one here. It goes into the master. And then I've got the input into channel 1, and away we go. So let me plug in the battery. Okay, so what I've done in the radio is I've set my sub trim to get it to line up perfectly here. I set my sub trim. And then my endpoints, I went in here and you can see it's at 123% and 120 the other way to get my max deflection. So here's my max deflection. So right now only this first servo here is driving, the other 2 are dead, they're not plugged in. So what you do is you first have to tell this little unit here what the endpoints are. So you go all the way over and you push this little button right here. And then you go back the other way and you push this other button. Okay, so it knows now that the endpoints are set. So what I'll do now is I'll plug in the second servo, second one over here. I'm going to plug it into A, just like this here. There's a little bit of binding right now. And I plug in this little jumper, and then to balance the first one you push this number 1. So it goes through a full range of travel. It checks the 2 endpoints. And once it gets to this endpoint, now you'll see it starts bumping it down, and there's 100 different increments from the time it gets from one travel down to the other. The end servo is still not live. It's not plugged into anything. So the first step is to balance these 2 servos here. So you see it takes a couple minutes here, and it's slowly going in 100 different increments over the travel and balancing those 2 servos. What I did here is I just set up the ammeter. This is right out of the battery. So you can see when it goes to an increment, it's pretty high, and then it balances it out. Obviously, if the geometry is off quite a bit on the 2, then it'll be a much higher initial amp draw, and then it'll balance it out. See, it takes quite a while. Okay, I'm going to shut down. I'll let it balance the 2 here, and then I'll start back up with another video. Okay. Just finishing up the balancing of the first 2. You can see it's almost getting to the end of its range here. Probably take about another 30 seconds. I was able to have a part of a Pepsi here while I was waiting. This has been the most awesome balancing I've ever had to do. All automatic. Can't beat this. See, we're getting right down near the end here, and you can see that they're quite a bit out. Almost an amp draw, and then it bounces back out to next to nothing. Okay, it's all done. Okay, put it right to center. It's not, it's center of the servo is not center of the sub trim, so Okay, so next I remove the jumper and I power down. Power back up. Oh, you know what? Yeah. Power back up here. Okay. Look at that. Nice. You can just hear there's no bound, there's no fighting each other. That's awesome. Okay, now we'll do number 3. Power down. Plug the third one in here. Power back up. You can see there's some fighting right now. That third one is not balanced all the way. Okay, so what I have to do now is I have to set again the endpoints. So we'll go all the way. Push there. All the way here. Push there. Put in the balance port, and I have to hit number 2 now. It'll do a full sweep. Okay, so now these 2 servos right here are going down in increments, and if you look close, I'll see if I can zoom in, but you can tell that this one here is doing its small adjustments now to balance with these 2. Okay, just trying to finish up here. It's doing the 3rd servo right now. You can see that 3rd servo is out quite a bit. I guess with the difference in the taper of the ailerons, the geometry is pretty high. I think the other 2 servos are also fighting the covering in the hinge line a little bit. That's interesting. Right near the end here, it's actually balanced pretty close. There we go. Okay, so I'll pull off this. Disconnect the power. See how it works. Center all 3 servos. That's really nice and low for 3 servos. That's awesome. Wow, that's a lot of power. That should work. Oops, it's hitting the table. That's why it's straining a bit. Those are Savox 1270s. I think they're 0.11 and something like close to 500 ounce inch. That's awesome. So there you go. One balance thing. That was the easiest balancing setup I've ever done. Was able to have a part of a Pepsi in the meantime. Party on. Okay, over and out.